Alright, so for today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Klein Tools 15-in-1 ratcheting screwdriver. Now, the model number for this guy is going to be 32305. And like I said, this is the ratcheting screwdriver from them. So we're going to first start off with the handle like we generally do on the screwdriver reviews here on the channel. And this is your typical Klein screwdriver where you got that nice, soft, squishy rubber handle that wraps around the entire side of the screwdriver, which is nice. And then you have the Klein Tools name, which is a part of that rubber molding for the handle. Now, one thing to note about some of these multi-bit drivers from Klein is people have been having issues with the rubber breaking free and not wanting to stick onto the screwdriver when you're applying a lot of torque. Sometimes the rubber likes to jump. I'm not sure if it affects this guy or not, but I figured I might as well mention that. And you do have an arrow up here that indicates that the top of this handle does pop out, which I'll show you here in a minute. And then if you rotate the tool around, you have, I believe, a production code or a production year for when the tool was made. You have your model number, and then you have some safety warnings, which are pretty much common on all of Klein's screwdrivers. And then if you rotate it around, it's pretty much pretty plain. You just got that and the Klein name there on the back. And like I said, you do have an arrow here and back here. And then if you come to the cap on the screwdriver, it is got a nice indentation and it is white painted on there, which is nice. One thing to note about the white paint on the screwdriver, if it's a tool that you use quite frequently, the white paint does start to wear off. But since they also indent like the plastic on there, if it does wear off, you can just take some white paint, kind of paint over it, and then wipe it off, and it should still be in the indentation. So that's one thing to note about that. And then you can pop the back of this guy open. You're going to have 12 of your 15 different bits for this guy in here, or I should say 14, because you do get a 1/4-inch nut driver with this. So you're going to have 12 of the 14 different bits you have in here, and they're going to range. You're going to get your normal torque sizes, so your T25, your T20, your T15, and your T10 torques. And then your standard Phillips number 1, Phillips number 2, and you get a Phillips number 3 and a Phillips number 0, and then you have your standard 3/16 and your 1/4-inch slotted, and then you believe this is square 1 and square 2, and that's pretty much it for the bits on the carousel. And the carousel does rotate, which is nice, and it locks into the tool fairly easily, and it's simple enough to pull the bits out of the tool and lock them back in. Then all the bits here have ball bearings on them. You just can't see this one because I don't have it flipped around, but they all have ball bearings which lock into the front of the tool. And that's pretty much how you close that guy. And then if you look here on the front of the tool, it's kind of hard to see the different positions. I know on some of the other ratcheting screwdriver, it's a lot easier to see where it locks in. Kind of hard to see here, which you have your different positions. So right now, I have it going one way. And then if you tilt it to the middle of it, it locks the screwdriver into place. So if you don't want to use the ratcheting feature, you could lock that guy out. Or if you needed to drive a screw in, or drive a screw out, you can just lock it into the position that you need it. And you do have a fairly long shaft here on the screwdriver, which then holds your 2 other bits that you get with this guy. This is going to be your combination 1 and your combination 2. If you are familiar with these, it's pretty much just a slotted and a square bit. You can also kind of say it's maybe a mix of a Phillips 2, all into one bit. You see it a lot with the EMT fittings. For like conduit and stuff like that, you see those screw heads on there. It's kind of what these are mainly, or at least mainly what I use them for. So you get, like I said, you get the combination 1 and the combination 2. If you're a Milwaukee user, it'd be ECX1 or ECX2. And then you also do get a 1/4-inch nut driver here. Now, one thing to note about that is that it is not magnetic. So if you're going to use it as a 1/4-inch nut driver, you just got to be mindful that if you are trying to, screw something back down, you're going to pretty much have to hold that screw down until you can get it started, because again, it's not magnetic, so you can't just put it in there and forget about it. It's going to fall out. And the bits do lock into place fairly nicely. The ball bearing does help keep it locked into the tool. But like I said, ratcheting feature on this guy, so if that's your cup of tea, and you want to use one of these guys, this is just another option for you. Klein definitely does have a nice selection of ratcheting screwdrivers if you do like to use them. So if maybe this one isn't for you and you want something else, maybe with some nut drivers and things like that, you can always explore some of the other options out there. This is just, like I said, just one option that Klein has to offer when it comes to the ratcheting screwdrivers. And with that being said, that's kind of all I have for this video. So as always, there will be a link down in the description below if you want to learn some more about this screwdriver. The link will take you right on over to the Klein Tools website where you can learn more about this. And then if you can't find this in your local store, I was able to find this at my local Lowe's on the shelf in the electrical aisle, not in the tool section. You're going to have to go to the where the electrical tools are to pick this guy up. So if you can't find it in your Lowe's, I will leave some links down in the description. You can order it online and have it shipped to your front door. So with that being said, that's all I have for this video. Thanks for watching.